Well, it's Thursday, and it's time to play my favorite song. Well, welcome back to Finding America. It is really great to see you back here. Now, I have to say, this is the type of hunt that I really love. Being able to dig on a spot that I've already done the research on, and I know about what once stood here long ago, makes what I find just that much more special. Well, this week, I head back to my dig-it-all field. What can I say? I just can't stay away from that place. There were so many interesting businesses that were located there during the late 1800s and onward. Some of the businesses that were there were early car dealership, a gas station, a body shop, stonemasons, and even a wagon repair facility. And on top of that, there were a couple homes on that area as well through the years. And now, it's just a field of grass and trees. Now, I've hunted this place a ton of times, but it always produces. But this time, I'm going to try something a little bit different. As always, I'm going to have my Equinox 800, but this time I'm going to bring the 15-inch coil and the 6-inch coil, and I'm going to hunt in the field 2 mode. Now, I'm going to use all the stock settings except for one. I'm going to make it 2-tone. And I have to say, this turned out to be just the trick I needed to make some very cool finds. I dug down like 10 inches for this thing, but I was getting ready to fill the hole, and I was like, oh, check it out. I love that. A little bonus find. Made that rusty piece go away in my mind. Look at that beautiful marble. So I will definitely take that, and I'm going to keep on going along here. We've got some thunderstorms that are about to hit us, but just out here having a bit of fun. Well, I'm just about to get completely poured on by this big storm coming, but I had to show you this. I'm going to get wet, but check it out. Another old padlock. Super down there, just awesome. Give me a 14 in part 2, and now I got to run for the car. I'll get it cleaned up and you'll get a good better look at this. Now this signal here, probably 8 inches down. I switched over to park 1, didn't really get the signal. Park 2, I could get it one way, but in field 2, I banged on it both directions. And I finally got it out, and I cleaned it up before I turned the camera on. And check it out. It's some type of escutcheon possibly, but really pretty piece, very ornate. And it was giving me a 15-16. I tell you what, I had to go down for it. So I'm gonna keep on going. I'm getting a lot of signals in the field too now, so enjoying it a lot. Well, this is something else I find a lot of in this field. This one was giving me a 9-10. It was about 7 inches down. But check it out. These are little chisels. I found a lot of these little chisels all over this place. I think I found about 8 or 9 of them so far. But they're pretty cool. And I tell you, this program working well and really going deep. So it really woke this whole spot up. That's one thing I love about the Equinox is, you want to wake up your spot, put another coil on it. It starts to get a little slow. Well, try this program, try that program. You know, this machine will keep your spots alive for a long time. Now, I've really come to realize that after having used it now. But it's just a great machine, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm on my knees pretty much all the time right now. Well, I got a nice signal ringing in about 25, 26, and dug down and said it was still in the hole, so I took a digger and popped out the sidewall a little bit, and out came this coin. I don't find too many coins in the dig-it-all field, so it's nice to see, but I cleaned it off. I've got a nice weedy. It's a 55 with the San Francisco mint mark. Very cool. Well, I tell you, I'm just having a lot of fun digging all kinds of weird things. This one was giving me a 12. I dug down and I saw the end of it here. I pulled it out and check it out. That is a very old inside door handle. Probably, I'm kind of guessing truck. Could be car though. But yeah, that'd be on the inside of the door, and you just pull it up to open the door. So very cool. That's going to be 40s, 50s. So neat little item. Well, I tell you what, I love digging it all, because sometimes that number 9 that you get on your screen, it turns out to be something nice, and it did this time. About 6 inches down, I got it out and I saw something round. I'm like, what the heck? I thought it was a nickel. I had to double check the numbers, but check it out. I got it cleaned up some. It's an iron back button. I'm not sure if you can see it yet, but I can read what it says. It says Big Ben, and both words share this big B on the outside here. So that's going to be some type of overall button or dungaree, but that is awesome. I love when I find a new button that I don't have. And I tell you what, that was just a really nice banging 9. And it's an iron back button, so that lowered the numbers down. But it's got the nice brass front. Very cool piece. I love it. Well, I'll be darned. I checked the hole again. There was more in it. So I opened it up and found this piece of iron. No big deal, but I saw something else fly out of the dirt. Check that out. That is killer. Look at the patina on this thing. The green, serious age on it. But look at that piece, isn't it beautiful? Now I'm kind of making a guess here as to what this is. It may have been something to hang a pocket watch from. This could have been in a buttonhole or something, and then it just hung down. I'm not quite sure, but it is old. Definitely 1800s. I mean, it takes a while to get that nice green patina. But what a great piece. I was like, oh man, there's a pocket watch in there too. But that was it. Very cool little piece though. Well, another 13, dug down about 6 inches, and half a horseshoe. All kinds of cool relics coming out of here today. Well, got another kind of interesting one. Nothing that glitters or shines, but sometimes it doesn't have to. This is another reason I love hunting in this field, because this field was a place where men worked with their hands, you know, 100 years ago, making things, fixing things. You know, it was another time. It's unfortunately it's been kind of lost now. But I went down in this hole, got a 13. I found this really cool section of chain, and at about 9 inches down, sitting perfectly flat, I pulled out a file. More tools of the working man long ago. And I just really enjoy hunting places like this. I mean, overall buttons, tools, iron, steel, and the occasional very interesting, very cool piece. So it's always just so much fun, and this is really peeling back the layers of time here. So that's why I enjoy this field so much. Well, and the other reason I like hunting here is you never know what's going to come out of the next hole. So this hole, I'm trying to remember here, I think I was getting a 12. Maybe not, no, I think it was 11. Anyway, I dug down, I pulled out this piece of iron. I thought, well, that's probably it. But I ran my pinpointer over the dirt, and look there. Another button. Another ironback overall button, but this one looks in great shape. And I can tell you, I know which one this is. I haven't found one, but I've seen them before doing my research. And I am really glad to have this. This is another variety that I haven't found. Let me wipe it off a little bit. Hopefully you can see it. It's in great shape. The brand was called Bluebell, and another overall work attire brand, and that is so cool. Now you may remember I had a video a few months back called Down the Rabbit Hole, and I'm in the same place where I found all those jackrabbit buttons. And if you haven't seen that video, that is definitely worth it. Just look for Bugs Bunny on the thumbnail. So, very cool. This is a great piece. Well, I learned some really neat things about the Bluebell Company. In 1897, a man named C.C. Hudson left his Tennessee home to work in the booming textile mills of Greensboro, North Carolina. And it was there that he found a job earning 25 cents a day sewing buttons on overalls. Well, unfortunately, in 1904, that mill he was working at closed down. And C.C. Hudson and a few of his friends got together and decided they were going to start a company called the Hudson Overall Company right there in that town. And soon they had a loyal following of railroaders and laborers who loved their products. Well, legend has it that those customers of C.C.'s gave him a bell to keep at the shop. But unfortunately, it wasn't very long before that beautiful bell was covered in blue denim dust. But as it turned out, it resulted in them renaming the company to the Bluebell Overall Company. And in 1936, Bluebell introduced their famous Big Ben overalls line, and it became an instant success for the company. Well, not that long after, in the 1940s, Bluebell decided to make jeans for cowboys. They called them Wranglers, and they were part of their Western line. And eventually, the company became known simply as Wrangler, as you probably know them today. But those in the know still refer to them as Bluebell. Well, this one turned out to be big iron. I always like to dig them up to see what it's going to be. I had to go get my root slayer, my Nomad shovel, just to get it pried out of here, but I think it's a plow point. Check that thing out, boy. That is a big one. So, pretty cool piece. I got something pretty interesting here. I was digging a 14, cleared some trash out, and I had to go pretty far down. Let's see how far I went. About 7 inches. And I got this, and I thought I had another button. I'm just not sure what it is. Definitely has a pretty fancy design on it, but it's attached to something still. I just don't know what the heck it is. I'm gonna have to get it home, get it cleaned up a little more, but it is pretty neat, and it has a very ornate design on it. Well, I was digging another deep signal. That was around 14. Another 7-8 inch signal. And I popped it out and I just brushed it off. It's kind of neat looking. But I have no idea what it is. I saw these two, I don't know if they're attaching points here on the back, and I thought, well, maybe it's part of a razor. But honestly, I just don't know. I might be able to get some writing off of this. I don't think so. Well, I might have something really cool in the hole, or I might have Bazinga. I don't know. I was getting a 14. It was a little dicey pinpointing for some reason. I was off, so I cut another plug a little to expand the hole my way. And it said it was in the plug, and I cleared a little dirt off, and look at that. But it's not a nickel. I don't know what it is. It was round, and I just grabbed the camera. It is very thin. I don't know if it's a token. Holy cow. There's definitely something on it. I can see some writing. Oh, this is awesome. I think. Oh yeah. Oh, I definitely can see some writing on it. It feels like it's copper. I tell you what, I need to brush this off. I hate to do it, but it's really hard to do with one hand. Oh, I can see a 5. Check it out. It's got to be a token. I can see a number 5 right there. Awesome. I'll tell you, I'll take a token over a silver coin sometimes. I tell you, love digging these. I'll be right back. Let me get it cleaned up. Well, check it out. How cool is that? It is Norwood Lumber Company, Forney, North Carolina. Killer token. Other side, just as cool. Good for 5 cents in merchandise only. How awesome is that? I'm telling you, I'd rather have this than a barber dime. Now, seated dime, that's gonna be a toss-up. But I love these tokens. It's just killer. I could see the guy out here working, and he had this in his pocket. You know, I was gonna use it for some lumber. And you have to pardon all the noise. Got a lot of traffic here, but I'm telling you, this is awesome. This makes my day. This makes my whole weekend. So, Awesome find. Now it turns out this token was not a discount type token at all. It was actually a script token that was used in the company store of Norwood Lumber Company. Well, it turns out that Norwood Lumber Company operated out of a small town called Forney, North Carolina. Now this was their own company town, and it lay just beneath the summit of Clingman's Dome, which is the highest peak at 6,643 feet in what is now known as the Great Smoky National Park. Well, from 1906 all the way until 1925, the Norwood Lumber Company hauled logs out of those mountains using trains. And it wasn't easy. Some of the inclines were so steep they had to set up steam engines at the top of them and use heavy-duty winches to pull the locomotive trains all the way up the mountain to pick the wood up. Well, high atop those mountains, 400 men who had their families along with them worked hard for the Norwood Lumber Company. And they worked for 10 to 20 cents an hour, and 10 to 12 hours a day, and 6 days a week. Life was hard, but the pay was good. In 1925, a huge and devastating fire ripped through the entire organization, as well as that small town. And Forney, North Carolina became nothing more than a distant memory. The site of the logging company is now part of the national park, where you can actually still see evidence of its heyday long ago. Well, I'm still working out here in the field, and got a 15 deep. Got it down about 8 inches. Finally got it out, and check it out. I about freaked out. I'm like, oh, it's roundness. And I can already see it has lettering on it. I have a feeling it must be a button or something. But I haven't really looked at it. I just went and grabbed the camera. So, heck of a button day, I tell you that. It says Detroit in here. Special. Huh. Hang on just a second. Wow. I am not sure. Give you all a close-up of this. I can't make out what it says up here, but it says Detroit Special. I don't know if it's a button back or appears to be. I'll tell you what, let me clean it up and I'll be right back. But boy, what a lot of interesting finds coming out today. Well, there it is. I have to say, I love a find like this because I don't have a clue. It says, I'm thinking it says pink. It's a little tough to make out here. Looks like INCK, Detroit Special. That is really cool. So looking forward to trying to do a little research on that, figure out what it is. But awesome find. Well, next thing was pretty cool. It was give me a 12. I could get it this way, but I couldn't get it going this way. And once I popped the plug and pulled it out, now you can see why. An awesome looking railroad spike. I love the curve on this one. But, you know, I like digging these. And one of the reasons is it gives me a great excuse to put a really cool railroad picture in the video. Well, this next hole is kind of interesting. It's giving me a 13-14. Dug down and got a couple pieces of an old deteriorated pocket knife. And then it said there was still something in the hole, so I thought it was more pieces to it. But underneath this root, it turned out to be something else entirely. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Oh, there we go. Now that is an old fork. And I tell you what, we hardly ever find forks. I find a couple knives every once in a while, but the forks are the hardest. And this is an oldie. Very old. I don't even know. Let's see here. I don't know if it's going to have a back mark on it. But yeah, that is a really old piece there. Early 1900s at least. Well, I got a pretty cool hole right here. It's giving me a real solid 18. Depth meter was maxed out. I switched over to the 6-inch coil just to have a little bit of fun. Changed it up a little bit today. And went down. Now I'll tell you what, if you ever wonder if that 6-inch coil can go deep, let me show you this thing. It was way down there. I'll tell you, we're talking that deep. So we're looking at about 8 inches, and check it out, I got a pocket watch bezel, and that was all the way at the bottom of the hole. Well, very cool next hole. Small coil, big find. Look at this thing. Wow. Now I'm sure a lot of you know what this is, but just in case you don't, it's very heavy, made of iron, and that is a window weight. These would go inside the window frames, and there would be a rope tied to the top here, and that would go up and down every time you open the window. So very cool piece. I found one of these last year, and yeah, I don't know, it's just a cool little piece. I enjoy finding them. Not really little, is it? There's another cool little relic sniffed out by the 6-inch, and this time it's going to be part of a pair of scissors. It's very cool. Well, I got another cool piece of iron. This one was giving me like a 910 one-way signal again. So I dug down good 6 inches and I finally got it, but check out this old iron hook. That's pretty darn cool. You just gotta wonder what they used it for. Pulling engines or pulling cars out of ditches. No telling, but a neat little relic. And if only you could tell me the stories. Well, small coil just came through for me. I rarely find coins out here, very seldom, but I got one. It was giving me a 13, pretty far down there, 7 inches. Check it out, I got a nickel, and I do not know what it is. Oh, yeah, I actually, now I do, now that I'm leaning over it looking at it. It's a buffalo. I can see it already. Holy cow, look at this. Wow. Is that not a beauty? Love digging these buffaloes. Wow. And maybe it looks to be in pretty good shape. Maybe we'll get a date off this one. Tell you what. Ah, that is great. Usually I dig a 13 out here, it's big iron. Well, all I can make out is 19 on this one, and that's the first 2 numbers. But we kind of had an idea of that. So I'll clean it up more when I get home, and maybe I'll get lucky, be able to pull a date from this one. But I don't care. I love digging buffalo nickels, no matter if they have a date or not. Well, as you can see, I made a lot of really great finds. I learned a lot of great history, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. But don't go away just yet, because I have some amazing historical photos from our country's illustrious past coming up in just a few seconds. And I hope you'll stick around for those. And remember, it's history that makes that find a treasure. And I cannot wait to see you back here next week on Finding America.